Hi friends, let's talk about lifecycle methods in React.js, which is only useful when we write class-based components. It is not useful in the functional-based components. So I will tell you just the brush up of these lifecycle methods, so that you guys can understand like what is the when you can use. But nowadays React.js discourages us to use the class-based approach, so they request us to use the functional approach, but still I want you to know about this. So lifecycle methods are special methods that are invoked at different stages of a component's lifecycle. So one complete component, can have different phases. Like whenever it loads, it is a different phase. Whenever it updates the DOM, it is a different phase. Whenever it releases, it re-renders, it is a different phase, and like that. So let me quickly walk through. It is not a very detailed video, but you will understand at least what is going on in the class-based approach. Okay, so they allow you to do specific actions or execute code at certain points. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell you. Like whenever the DOM is created, updated, or removed. Okay, so and few of the lifecycle methods are deprecated actually. Okay, so and React hooks, that means functional component, has taken the priority over this. And many methods, if you see, maybe whenever you see this video, most of the lifecycle methods might have been deprecated. So the first of all, I want to tell you about the constructor. This method will be called when component is being initialized first time. Right away, whenever the component is initialized, this method will call, and you can do whatever setting you want to do over there actually, an event binding and whatever. So the second method is get derived state from props. Props and state can be sent using this method, and this static method is invoked just before rendering, means actual rendering. Before the rendering, this method will be invoked, called. You can do whatever you want inside this method, and it will update the state based on the changes in the props. So if there are any changes in the props and you want to update, you can take care of that in this particular function, get derived state from props. So as I said, render, this is one of the most important method which is responsible for rendering the component JSX markup. So JSX is nothing but the JavaScript XML, and the conversion is taken care by the Babel. Okay, Babel tool, which converts the JSX into plain HTML so that browser can understand. As you all know, browser doesn't understand JSX, so it needs a converter. componentDidMount. So this hook or this method will be called immediately after the component is rendered in the DOM. So it is commonly used for performing side effects such as API requests or setting up event list. So whatever you want to do, whatever use case you have, you can handle, and you can write the code accordingly inside this function componentDidMount after the mounting, that means. So now this is the unmounting phase. Component will unmount, that means whenever this function will call, after that component will start unmounting. So you can do whatever you want to do inside this function. So the important use case is whenever you want to do the cleanup task, like to save the memory leak and whatever, you can do all the things here actually before unmounting, because you know after this function component will start unmounting. So there are some other lifecycle events also which are less commonly used actually. If you see component did catch, it is deprecated, but still I am telling you, it is used for error handling in the components. So whenever there is an error, you will get this function called actually. Okay, component will mount just before mounting, means whenever this function will call, this method is called, after this immediately your component will start mounting actually. So component will receive props and component will update. So whenever there is update, it will call this function, and component will receive props just before getting the props. So while reading the props and getting the props, this function will call. So these are very important concepts, but it were very important earlier, and now they don't want us to use this kind of lifecycle events because they don't want us to use the class-based approach. There are some drawbacks in the class-based approach, and they want us to use the functional approach and there are so many hooks which I am already going to explain you in this video. So stay tuned on until I complete this video. You will get so much important information. Thank you very much guys. Let's move on to the next video.